No one cares about wokeness any longer. It's just this random thing that most people just brush aside without thinking about it. But for some reason, it's not letting up. Well, the reason is the fact that these people are stupid, uneducated, and even the ones who are educated are typically educated in African American tribal dance psychology, which is stupid. And so we get to situations like this, where they just keep making fool of themselves because they are clueless about how the real world functions. Well, you know what? I'll be real with you boys. If I could be a trust fund kid, child, baby, I would also choose that life, okay? I'm not gonna lie. Being rich probably hurt my soul. No, okay, not really. But close, close.
The video game industry has been going through some major changes over the past couple of months between a lot of layoffs, project cancellations, and of course, gamers withholding funds from companies that are no longer delivering us high quality experiences. But
Based and good. So many people have slowly gotten accustomed to the idea of, hey, let's not pre-order this slop. Hey, let's not buy this game that looks bad. Let's not give these companies rewards for being unfinished products and anti-consumer. Lovely.
there is still an anti gamer narrative being pushed by the access media, by these activist developers, and it is all falling apart. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, this is very positive holiday news that gamers are actually winning, and the media, these developers, all of their really careers, livelihoods, and ultimately their echo chambers are falling apart. They are having a
Well, to be fair, we have been kind of inning for a long time now because no one cares about their opinions. Someone just hears the word woke and they're like, yep, I'm not listening to this person. And the other side is like, woke doesn't exist. How dare you speak and how dare you say it? This thing that you can point to directly, give examples to, it doesn't exist, you chud. How dare you, in fact, say that this thing that clearly exists exists? Ooh, that's evil. And obviously, no one cares. The days where they can just lie about, well, everything, let's be real, they lie about everything, they no longer work. People do not trust them. People do not trust their words any longer because people have been burned too many times. Because these people will lie literally about everything and anything. They will literally look at the proven theorem and paper about 2 plus 2 being 4, and they will say 2 plus 2 is 5, even though it's right in front of them. They don't care. They're literally just hoping someone with 5 IQ is gonna be like, oh, he said the truth. And then they're just hoping for that. That's it. They cannot acquire anyone else to their side but people with brain damage.
very tough time figuring out how to continue on in this space, which is really interesting because if they were actually passionate, they would find a way. If they were actually talented, they would find a way. But they were hired due to DEI hiring practices. They weren't hired based on merits. And so now they're either being kicked out of the industry or they are struggling to stay in it. All of these access media sites like The Gamer, Kotaku, Polygon, their numbers have dwindled. Their access has actually dwindled because they're not in the good graces of the companies that are succeeding right now, meaning indies and double A's. And ultimately, we are seeing a lot of changes, but the anti gamer narrative is falling apart. We have seen so many hit pieces on us from The Gamer. We have seen so many Sweet Baby Inc. consultants.
The Gamer is one. Dude, the Gamer is the best news website, okay? It has such bangers as Diablo 4, actually better than Parapixel. The drip is so better. The builds are so cooler. Man, the Gamer really, really just makes the worst articles that have ever existed. It's like, it's honestly a Bethesda tier talent.
come out and call us bigots for criticizing them, developers who have been fired over their own actions, blaming us, even companies like Ubisoft attacking us, but it's not working out. Every single time we see something like this, we call it out, we point and laugh, and they hold no power in this space anymore, which is phenomenal. Let's start off with this The Gamer article from just a few days ago saying Lords of the Fallen 2 is already cementing itself as a game for
The
all the wrong
wrong
people. You
people.
mean for
Nice.
real gamers. It's fine if you don't like Lords of the Fallen 2. It's fine if you don't like Souls-likes. It's fine if you don't like fantasy titles. But what isn't fine is when you say the audience that is interested in this game is the wrong people, because there are bound to be gamers who purchase Lords of the Fallen 2, who support CI games, who aren't involved in the culture war, that don't know its backstory. But
Ah, yes, this is a common mistake. You need to understand a woke mentality. If you are not with them, you are fundamentally against them. This is how it functions. This is how it works. So, the fact that someone does not care about Lords of the Fallen or whatever, but is going to play them, that means they are the enemy. Simple. The simplest stuff ever, honestly.
yet you're going to sit here and lump them all together. But this is just what the left does. If you are not directly with them and pushing their narratives and defending them 100%, you are against them, you are an enemy, you are opposed to them, and they will target you. This is just a perfect example of that. But it says Lords of the Fallen 2 publisher CI Games made it blatant back in January that it will steer clear of making its games political or including any social elements or agendas in its future titles. It claims featuring
By the way, you see this, right? Again, this is what I said before. If you're not with them, you're against them. And this is how it shows. Because saying that the game is just not going to be political should be a neutral statement, and you should be like, okay, fine, whatever, it's your choice. But these people are mad. Because again, not being with them, even if you're not against them, is the same as being against them. So they will attack you. There is no such situation as an, oh, I'm just not gonna participate in this thing. No. They're gonna reel you in no matter what. It doesn't matter your opinions, as long as they're not the same as their opinions, you are the enemy. That's how this works.
things such as running a high of pushing audiences away, and it would rather focus on serious games featuring stuff like sexy, scantily clad women. Whatever you want, I guess, just make sure to wash your hands when you're done. Just because we want to see beautiful characters in our games doesn't make us gooners or losers. This is a very old, tired narrative.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I don't care what they call me. Why would I care about the opinion of the folly?
At this point, this deliberately ignores diversity.
I have seen what these people cheer for. Why would I care if they think I'm a bad person? That's probably the best thing ever, in fact. If they think I'm a bad person, I know I'm on the right side of things.
Inclusive successes like Baldur's Gate 3, which went on to sell 20 million copies, and cherrypicks high-profile cases like Concord to justify the belief that the inclusion of queer characters and unconventionally attractive women makes a title fail. I think it's so hilarious that they say, oh, CI Games is cherry-picking high-profile cases like Concord to justify the belief that inclusion of queer characters makes a title fail, when what they are doing is cherry-picking one example of a title that happened to feature queer characters that was successful, aka Baldur's Gate 3. They're not giving any other examples because, newsflash, there really aren't many at all. It's an
Are there any, in fact, also? I don't think so.
existing argument that very small yet very loud corners of the game development world cling to with unwavering ignorance just because you have
Unwavering ignorance. Now, that is a word combination I like, boys. Listen, my unwavering ignorance will not be wavered. Pretty good. I like it. I like it.
a developer who doesn't believe in what you believe in and doesn't want to push the narratives you want to push, that doesn't make him evil, that doesn't make him terrible, and that doesn't mean you should boycott their experience. what they're really
I mean, what does the boycott of these people matter? They're never gonna buy the game anyway, so it's literally, oh, a boycott. -0 sales. Wow, a tragedy. A truly big tragedy. These people have no power because the reality is they don't support the things that they like. They just virtue signal. The biggest support they have is like going and subscribing to a woke YouTuber or something and then not even watching their videos. It's actually quite interesting how many woke YouTubers there are in the world that have massive amounts of subscribers and they're real, they're not botted or anything like that. It's not Twitch. And no one watches the videos because these people just don't care. They're actually not going to support the thing. What matters to them is to say that I support the thing. I'm a good person because I support the thing, whatever the current thing is. And they fail. They fail because of this, obviously. Because they don't actually care about the thing. They care to pretend that they care about the thing so that people say, oh, he cares about the thing. Am I making sense? Yeah, probably making enough sense.
mad at is how they're saying that in his pursuit to remove progressive politics and ideas from the game, aka Body Type 1 and 2, Tyminski has only gone and made Lords of the Fallen 2 political all over again. How ironic. It is not political to believe that male and female are the only two genders that exist. It is not political to believe that choosing male and female is more sane than body type A and B or 1 and 2. It is absolutely insane that they put out an entire hit piece talking about how bigoted the player base is, how terrible people are for simply wanting normalcy in their entertainment. Again, they are just very upset by the fact that they are no longer being listened to, that companies are no longer caving to their demands, and that ultimately they are not getting their way 100% of the time. This goes for Sweet Baby Inc. as well. The narrative consultant.
Ah, yes. The God of War Ragnarok, based on only the blackest of Norse mythology, is it not great? I mean, listen, Chad. Historically, the Norse were black, in fact. Oh, yes. The original Vikings were melanized.
Just a few days ago, dismissed critics as cis white men opposed to diversity. They do not want to acknowledge the existence of women in the space like myself, Madam Savvy, Toasty, Wicked Virtue, because that would also break their narrative. There are plenty of women that are opposed to them, and I'm sure that there are many people who are not cis white men that are opposed to them as well.
Trans black woman reporting in? You know it's true, boys, canonically. For 2 years now. That's right. I identify. Exactly.
Well, because their business strategy fucking sucks and the content they're creating absolutely sucks. It has nothing to do with you and your race and your gender. If you are not good at your job, you do not deserve to have that job. And all Sweet Baby Inc. has done is helped ruin games. And I do also blame the developers that actually worked with them, because the studios hiring them should have been better at their jobs in the first place as well. But ultimately, SBI is not helping. They are only hurting this industry. There's plenty of diversity in games. There always has been, and there always will be. And people are sick of forced diversity when it is done naturally, when it is done in a good way, when it makes sense to a story. Most people don't call it out. Most people are perfectly fine with that. But all you want to do is inject your politics and personal beliefs into an experience, and it's going to be rejected every single freaking time. Luckily, we do have people like Merrick Tyminski who are willing to come out and call out these hit pieces on gamers, saying that this year we've talked directly to you to shape Lords of the Fallen 2, but according to the gamer, you're the wrong type of gamer. And he's saying that
biggest advertisement campaign that he could have gotten for free.
I don't want you to attack my player base, and that is ridiculous, and you love to see that happening. This company has tried their best over the past year to actually listen to their paying customers, which is something companies need to do a hell of a lot more. But in the case of Sweet Baby Inc. as well, the Sweet Baby Inc. detected Steam list has 479,000 followers right under that
That is insane.
500K mark. It is very clear that real gamers are sick and tired of activists taking over this industry, and that is why so many of these Sweet Baby Inc. projects have been failures. It's why so many titles with like-minded developers have come out and have not done good. And even
Oh god, Tales of the Shire. Ugh.
ones that haven't
That's a
released yet
special
have been
help.
called out, like Rise of the Deceiver and also Relooted, but there's so many examples of this happening.
Oh, I remember Relooted. Oh my god, it's another Concord. Holy, Relooted is hilariously dumb.
Many examples of this happening. Just a few months ago, we saw the Charlie Kirk situation happen, which was absolutely terrible. So many individuals in the games industry mocking it, laughing at it, and these developers who did ultimately get fired for their own actions and for their own statements blamed us, blamed gamers, blamed YouTube.
Well, they need to blame someone. It's not like they're gonna suddenly decide, hey, I'm gonna take responsibility. That's not how this works.
For holding them accountable. I've said it multiple times and I will continue to say it. I would not call for these people to be fired, but I also will not run to their defense because ultimately
I would fire them, blacklist them from the industry, take away their houses, their rights, their properties, their everything. I don't want them. They're evil. Why would I ever support them? People who hate me, people who want to see me suffer, why would I support them? Okay? I believe in a certain amount of things. Free speech and a lot of other good stuff, right? Capitalism and all of that shabazzle. They don't. And if they don't believe in that, why would I help them? In fact, I want them to be treated as they want to be treated as communists. I want them to go to prison because they stepped out of line. I'm not going to protect their free speech. These people don't deserve it. They don't want it. So I'm not going to protect them. I'm not going to be kind to them.
they are the ones who have also stood and also said, yeah, YouTubers deserve to be kicked off of platforms. Oh, gamers don't deserve to have games made for them anymore. Oh, if you're a conservative, you should be kicked out of the video game industry because you are a threat. So, yeah, I'm not going to stand with cancel culture. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, yes, fire them in droves. But I'm also not going to sit here and say, oh my gosh, I'm going to rally for you to get your job back. You deserve it back. They constantly say, oh, this isn't cancel culture, it's accountability culture. But now that we're playing by their rules, oh no, they don't like that. Ubisoft also blamed players for buying fewer games and not its own misfires, which is just so funny.
Ubisoft also blamed Star Wars fatigue. Ubisoft literally blamed everything and anything that they could just randomly think of to say Star Wars, to explain why Star Wars Outlaws wasn't a disaster.
But yes, gamers are rejecting these companies and these activists' attacks time and time again, and you love to see it. A lot of them are struggling right now. A lot of them are going through major problems, and really, I can't say that I feel all that bad. They're getting what they deserve. So I'm sure I will be talking about more situations like this in the future, but take this as a big holiday win that we are actually being listened to, that we are willing to fight back, and companies are either going to have to adapt to that and our wants and needs, or they're going to go under. But
good. Anyway, that was very dark. 10 out of 10. Bye.